In the world of hip-hop, a very interesting person came along whose rise to fame was different from the rest. People all over the world fell in love with him quickly because of the way he told stories and the way he looked. But as his fame grew, he ran into troublesome problems that pushed him down a path of anxiety, suspicion, and violence. Now, his future is uncertain because he could spend the rest of his life in jail. Let's go back to Richard Martha Lloyd Walters, born on January 14, 1965, who is widely respected as one of the most talented storytellers in the hip-hop industry and is originally from New York. However, he spent a significant portion of his early years in Mitcham, a district in southwestern London, after his Jamaican parents migrated to the UK in search of better job opportunities. Tragedy struck when Ricky was just 18 months old, as he got into a scuffle with a girl that resulted in a piece of glass damaging his eye. Despite several unsuccessful attempts by surgeons, Ricky ultimately lost his sight in one eye. Richard Martha Lloyd Walters, born on January 14, 1965, is a respected hip-hop storyteller from New York. During his early years in Mitcham, London, a tragic accident caused him to lose sight in one eye. To cover up the injury, he initially used Ray-Bans, but later adopted an eye patch, which became his signature look. Although not particularly athletic in school, Ricky displayed a unique talent for drawing. Unlike most children who draw cartoons, he focuses on more lifelike subjects. After spending over 10 years in the UK, Ricky moved with his family to the Bronx, New York, specifically to East 241st Street and White Plains Road. At LaGuardia High School of Music and Arts, Ricky faced initial ridicule for his accent and fashion sense. However, he eventually formed strong friendships with future celebrities like Digivance Ride and rapper Dana Dane. Together, they created a group called the Kangle Crew and performed wherever they could. In 1984, at a battle in the Bronx, Ricky met the renowned beatboxer Doug E. Fresh, who was impressed by Ricky's lyrical style. Doug invited him to join his Get Fresh crew, and their collaboration resulted in Ricky making his debut on Doug's single, The Show, which later became a monumental piece of hip-hop history, widely sampled and referenced in the industry. Ricky, under the name MC Ricky D, showcased his fresh flow, and their partnership was a perfect match. We Like to Party soon became an iconic line in the music world. The songs gained mainstream attention and were featured on popular shows like Top of the Pops and Soul Train. These appearances helped Slick Rick and the Get Fresh crew rise to prominence. Rick joined Russell Simmons' Rush Artist Management in 1986 and signed with Def Jam Records, a significant hip-hop label at the time, as the third artist. Working with his high school friend DJ Vance Wright, Rick produced his solo album, The Great Adventures of Slick Rick, which was released on November 1, 1988. The album was a sensation, featuring hits like Mona Lisa, Children's Story, Teenage Love, and Hey Young World. Rick's distinctive accent and unique narrative style captivated fans and critics alike, with music critic Matt Weiner praising the compelling stories in Rick's songs from start to finish. The album reached #1 on the US Billboard 200, solidifying Slick Rick's place in hip-hop history as a star, not just a trailblazer. While Rick's official singles achieved widespread success, his collaboration track, Lottie Dottie, with Doug E. Fresh became an underground sensation. However, their partnership ended abruptly due to alleged financial disagreements, which Rick later downplayed as mere differences in perspectives. Despite his fame and success, Rick's lavish lifestyle came at a cost, as he faced creeping paranoia due to constant attention. Feeling the need for protection, he started carrying a firearm, a decision his mother Veronica disapproved of. In 1989, Veronica suggested hiring Rick's cousin, Mark Plummer, as a bodyguard for his summer tour. Initially, it seemed like a good idea, but it turned disastrous. Mark, coming from Jamaica to New York, became more interested in easy money and illicit connections than in doing the job. He expressed dissatisfaction with his weekly pay and demanded more. Since Rick had most of his money tied up in real estate, he couldn't afford to pay more up front. Instead, he gave Mark $2,000 per event and asked him to wait until his next album release. However, Mark didn't take it well and continuously bothered Veronica for more money. He even refused to register the van in his name, leading to parking tickets accumulating under Rick's name. Mark went to extreme lengths to harm Rick, including planning robberies and attacks on him and his mother. After a series of unfortunate incidents, Rick started feeling threatened, and this fear escalated when several men, whom Rick claimed were associated with Mark, shot at him outside a club in the Bronx on April 20th, 1990. Rick, along with his female companion and a nearby man, was injured but miraculously survived the attack. In the aftermath of the shooting, Rick discovered bullet holes in his front door, intensifying his paranoia and fear for his and his family's safety. As a result, he purchased several guns and started carrying them, even stashing some in his car. He later confessed to the judge that he was so afraid for his life that he didn't dare leave his house. The height of this terrifying situation occurred on July 3, 1990, when Rick, armed with a pistol, and his 7-month pregnant girlfriend, Misa Santiago, went out for some Chinese food. After dinner, they got into Rick's car with the intention of shopping for their unborn baby. During a car ride, Rick spotted his cousin Mark coming out of a store on 241st Street and White Plains Road, their old neighborhood. In a moment of impulse, Rick reached for his gun and fired 2 shots out of the window. Tragically, he missed Mark, but unintentionally hit a bystander named Wilbur Henry. Undeterred, Rick then shot Mark in the leg and arm, but Mark managed to escape. In a panic, Rick tried to speed away, but nearby police officers witnessed the incident and pursued him. A brief chase on the Bronx River Parkway ended with Rick crashing into a tree while attempting to exit the highway. The crash resulted in cuts and bruises for Rick, and devastatingly, both legs of his pregnant girlfriend were broken. After the incident, they were taken to the hospital and subsequently arrested. Rick faced serious charges, including 2 counts of attempted murder, assault, use of a firearm, and criminal possession of a weapon. Rick first said he did what he did out of self-defense, but he later pleaded guilty to all charges, which means he will spend 5 to 15 years in jail. His lawyers said that Rick had done what he did out of fear because he had been a victim of violence before, but the judge didn't care much about Rick's case since he didn't care about other people during the event. Rick changed his name to Ricky Walters and became a Muslim while he was in jail. In 1994, while Rick was in prison, he released an album titled Behind Bars. The album featured renowned rappers like Snoop Dogg, Warren G, and Biggie Smalls as guest artists. Despite not achieving the same commercial success as his previous works, it showcased Rick's musical talent and significant influence within the industry. Throughout his incarceration, Rick faced harsh living conditions and inadequate access to health care, resulting in detrimental effects on his overall well-being. Fortunately, in 1997 he was granted parole. Following his release, Rick revitalized his music career and passionately promoted criminal justice reform and youth education initiatives. His album, The Art of Storytelling, garnered praise for his captivating narrative style and introspective lyrics. Rick's experience encompasses profound triumphs, devastating setbacks, and eventual redemption. Undeniably influential within hip-hop culture, his music continues to inspire emerging artists across generations. Despite adversity, Rick successfully transformed his life, channeling his experiences toward making a positive impact on society. What are your views on this? Do let us know in the comments section below, and subscribe to our channel for more such content.